Okay, this video is going to walk you through some steps to set up your stock in both Adobe Illustrator and AutoCAD, Autodesk AutoCAD program. So the stock for your laser engraver, depending on the job that you're doing, has a variety of different sizes. Our coaster stock is 3x3. Our wing stock might be a 2x4. For our tail wings, it might be a 4x8, and it might be the long 3x12. Whatever you are doing in the laser, it's important to know the material that you're working with and the size of that material. And we're going to define the size of that material in the program that you're working with. So in Adobe Illustrator, the easiest way to do when you do a file new and you launch a new document, it gives you the opportunity to name that file and set up the size of that image. So the easiest thing to do is set your stock size there. And so for my coaster, for example, I'm going to make this a 3x3 square. The document is literally going to be 3x3. It's a custom size. Or maybe it's an 8x8 rectangle if doing the work for the algebra project. We might have an 8x8 square. We would set that here in the image, the file setup size. And then you just hit create. And when you do that, you have your 3x3 rectangle on which you can then do your design layout. Now to switch cases over to AutoCAD, when we launch AutoCAD, I have a file here where I have my glider parts, and I want to cut my glider parts on a stock. So the glider has three different stock sizes that we can work with. White box gives us a 3x12 sheet of balsa. It also gives us a 2x4 sheet of balsa. And if I want to set that up, and then I additionally have a 4x8 sheet of balsa. So I'm going to set up each of those stocks in here as an example. I'm going to set my stock on my base 0 layer. And the reason I'm doing this is generally we don't want to cut our stock out. And so you want to think about, are we going to cut this shape out or not? My coaster, I'm cutting 3x3 out. So maybe that's what I want. Anyways, all of these are rectangles. So I'm going to come up to my rectangle tool, and it says specify your first corner. Well, let's make this one a 3x12. So it's going to be 12 long. I hit tab and then the number 3 and enter. There's a 3x12 rectangle. Let's do one that's a 4x8. So I again hit the rectangle tool. I'm going to type the number 8 for long length, tab, and the number 4. There's my 4x8. Maybe I want to do my 2x4. I'll again hit the rectangle. It's 4 long. I hit tab, hit 2, and enter. Here are my different stock sizes for my glider parts. If this were a coaster, I'm doing a 3x3. Hit my rectangle. I drag out. I type 3. Hit tab, hit 3, and then I hit enter. And that locks my sizes to the stock that I'm doing. And then, if I'm doing the algebra project, it's an 8x8. So again, rectangle. I hit my rectangle, pull that out. I type 8, tab, and 8. I think you got the basic idea is define your stock in CAD, and then we're going to draw our parts and drag them on and lay them out in a manner that is efficient and not wasteful of material. So in a previous video, I showed you how to trace the Adobe parts, the Adobe PDF parts that come in to create polylines that are not made up of a bunch of tiny little segments. And I'm going to, just as a reminder, show you how you can turn layers on and off. So this is what came in previously. I did move assign the tail to a green layer in another video. This is what came in, and we clean these up to make them a single polyline or line, and also to help us in moving our parts onto our stock. So what I'm going to do right now is I am going to go back to the green layer, and I'm going to turn the red layer off. And so I'll click here on this little light bulb, turn the red layer off, because I don't want to select the red layer. I just want to be working with my green parts. Now, depending on the stock that you're utilizing, it will determine what you can. This whole wing, for example, can go on a 3x12, but I don't always have that stock, and our replacement stuff is 4x8. So I'm going to set my wing up to see if I can get it to fit on the 4x8. Keeping in mind that my wing parts, each little line here is a cut. It's being cut all the way through. So I really could separate it. It doesn't have to lay out here in this the way it's set up like the wing is right now. Just to show you an example, if I mouse down, I do a click and I pull down, everything that's selected in blue, if it is completely selected, it gets highlighted. You'll notice that up at the tip of the wing, I did not get high enough, and I wasn't able to select the middle or the top pieces. So if I needed to add them in, I could always go back and click on them, or I need to make sure that my blue completely covers that. In this piece right now, I can move this or I can copy this. I'm going to take a copy, and it says specify the base point. Where do you want to copy it from? Well, we'll copy it from here. Okay, and I'm going to bring that copy out here on my 4x8 sheet. Now I'm going to do this in a manner that's not going to waste material. So I'll paste that in there just like that. Okay, so we pasted that in. We'll have more to paste over. And this locked up on me. There we go. So we've copied it in there. If I wanted to put it on the 3x12, as I said earlier, the whole wing would fit in the 3x12. But I'm going to paste that into the 3x12 right there. Now I look down here. It does not fit so it doesn't fit on my 2x4. We can't put it there. We look up top here, it won't fit on my 3x3 either. So you got to be space conscious about the part as you're setting it out here, and you also want to make sure you're not wasting material. Now, you'll notice that this one locked into this edge over here, and it shifted it. So if you have that happen to you, you can either move your stock or you can move the drawing. In this case, the stock's going to be easier to move. So I select the stock, take my move tool, specify a base point, and all I want to do is just drag it up just a little bit so I can fit this in there. In laying my parts out, I want to consider waste. And I can see I can take my horizontal stabilizer here. We'll do the same thing. We're going to copy that, select the base point, and I'm going to drag that over. Now I don't want to waste material, so I want to paste this in here so with the least waste as possible. On my 3x12, it's not going to fit in on that part there. So even if I tried to shift my wings, now if all I was cutting was this, I could maybe get away with putting it right there. On my 2x4, this part's going to fit beautifully down here, and I could, in fact, it's an exact fit. Let me paste that in there like that. My last piece is my vertical stabilizer. I guess I have wingtips too. We have to move. So we'll do our copy tool there. Again, the base point of where I'm copying this from, and I can move that onto in a manner that is not going to be wasteful, and onto my stock. And I could place it here, but a more efficient way would be to rotate it and place it down here on the bottom. Same thing here. More efficient way would be to rotate it and place it down there on the bottom. So for the time being, we'll just put this here. I'm going to hit escape. Now let's show you how you can rotate this part. If I select that part, use the rotate tool right here, grab the corner, and flip it 90 degrees. Now I can take my part and I can use copy, and I can take this horizontal part and I can line it up over here on this piece. We're going to put it on this piece. That gets us set up where we can move these things around and prep them so that we can efficiently prepare our stock and not be wasteful in our use with the laser engraver materials. Hope this helps.